Shalom and thank you so much for joining. This is The Day. My name is Sarah Otieno. We're live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio, where the music does the talking. And thank you so much for joining us as we keep Jesus on the airwaves. Use the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316 and talk to us also through the SMS line 20316. Through Facebook and Twitter at Family Radio 316, and let us get to know what is making headline across our country and also across the globe. Now let's get started. Deputy President William Ruto has asked the Orange Democratic Movement to stop the double-speak on issues of corruption in the country. Speaking today in his current residence in Nairobi during a meeting with religious leaders, Dr. Ruto said that ODM was pushing for the special audit as a strategy to sanitize some of its members, who he says have been deeply involved in the COVID-19 pandemic scandals. Just yesterday, ODM leader Raila Odinga defended the party's position over the 43 billion shillings graft allegations of the Kenya Medical Supply Authority, that is KEMSA. Now, in a statement, Odinga insisted that a special audit be conducted first to ascertain the veracity of the allegation.
Mungu ni wajabu kwa sababu the people who gave us long lectures about money in churches, about Christians and church leaders being business people, today they are stammering. Today they are staggering. They don't know what to say. They were telling us the other day, people to take political responsibility, people to resign, people to be taken to court. Today they are telling us, no, wait. Let's wait with the investigations. First, let's do audit. Professional audit. Gentlemen, my friends, your double-speak is so loud and your double standards are so obvious and so glaring that it doesn't matter where we look, they are obvious. From telling us take political responsibility, to telling us people must step aside, to telling us people must be taken to court. Now you are telling us, no, let's do a special audit. Things have really changed. And I want to say, all the investigative agencies are independent institutions. They do not need any guidance, any lectures, or any directions from anybody. They will know what to do. There are those who are looking for this so-called special audit because they are looking for detergents and sanitizers for the laundromats they run.
All right, the Deputy President William Ruto there. And still on that note, ODM will not defend anyone implicated in the KEMSA scandal, the party chairperson said today. National Assembly Minority Leader John Mbadi said the party will still carry out its responsibility of checking on the government. The Suba South Member of Parliament, whose party has been taking the hit over the suspected loss of the COVID-19 fund, said their sentiments must not be mistaken for compromise in the fight against corruption. The lawmaker also said ODM remains the minority side and only the circumstances have changed. Mbadi went ahead to say that anyone who would imagine that ODM will condone corruption is daydreaming.
What ODM is calling for is one, speedy investigation by the various agencies that are given the responsibility to investigate matters corruption, the EACC, DCI, and the Office of the Auditor General, so that we speak with facts on the table. Remember, even the cases that we have brought before, the cases that our leader had been talking about before the 2017 elections, what we were doing with our limited resources and capacity, those days we could just rely on whistleblowers, social media, and other interested people who would bring the information to us, because the state agencies was not available for us. So what we are calling for as a party is, can we have a system where we are discussing facts? Because even today, if you ask, we are talking about money getting lost. How much is it? No one knows. So that is what we are calling for. But ODM is also concerned, very concerned, that the public is, that there are indications that the monies that have been given to KEMSA and other agencies to fight COVID, both from the taxpayers, that is our national revenue, and our development partners and our friends, it is being suspected that the money has not been properly utilized, that there are some overnight millionaires springing out of COVID-19. That is something that ODM cannot support and will not support. And so that is what we are saying, that please let the agencies do investigation. And we are not saying that Kenyans should not talk. Let people talk. Let those who have information bring it forward. But anyone who is found to have irregularly profited, because there's nothing wrong with doing business, you can do business, but if you're irregularly profiting from public resources, from an unfortunate...
And still on that note, former Starehe Member of Parliament Bishop Margaret Wanjiru, who attended the meeting that was led by the DP William Ruto, said that the only reason why we are still struggling with corruption in this country is because we do not have strong Christian leaders.
We want to be equal partners. We want to be on the negotiating table. We want to count our blessings after the elections. We want to see who is where as the face of the church. The reason why this monster called corruption is never going, it is because they are not strong Christians. Sio mambo tu ya kusema Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Strong Christians wenye wanamcha Mungu, wenye watasema our principles and our ethics do not allow us to do ABCD. Wenye watasimamia neno na wasimamia Biblia. Bwana Yesu asifiwe.
All right, there we have it. And let us remind ourselves of something. Now, on Saturday, the ODM, in a statement signed by Secretary General Edwin Sifuna, rebuked the media over coverage of the scandal. It also criticized actually the DCI for launching investigation into the ongoing scandal of the Kenya Medical Supply Agency, that is KEMSA. And they said this is a process actually that should only happen after an audit. Now, the DCI has launched an investigation into this scandal by the KEMSA, but an audit has not been done. Do you think it's right for the DCI to do this before an audit is done to actually ascertain the allegations that are being made? Send us your responses on this. Do you think the DCI is right to launch an investigation on this scandal even before an audit is done to ascertain the allegations that are being made? We're also live on Family Radio, where the music does the talking. Thank you so much for making time for the show. My name is Sarah Otieno. Use the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316 and talk to us. Also through the SMS line 20316. Your name is Evans Ragira, thank you so much for tuning in. Alafu pia naona Vincent Mulinge tuned in from Thika. Asante sana. Steve wa Gilgil, I can see you. Donald from Kisumu, thank you so much for tuning in. Joseph from Kiserian, you're saying on today's topic, Sarah, regardless of whether you bought your gas 3 weeks ago, ukitaka kupika omena, you still must check if the gas is still working. Or do you just start chopping the onions? Same case. We already know KEMSA has been doing the transaction. Now, since they have to be investigated, the DCI can't stop and wait for audit data. Tumechoka na ufisadi. That is your view. Thank you so much. Remember, you can also send in your views on today's topic. The DCI have already launched an investigation on the KEMSA scandal, despite the fact that an audit has not been done yet. Do you think it's right for them to do this, the DCI, to actually start the investigation even before the audit is done? Send in your responses. And on other matters, Gilgil Member of Parliament Martha Wangari has raised concern over the implementation and credibility of the proposed community-based teaching program by the Ministry of Education. According to the legislator, the program is faced with challenges that may hinder its implementation. Wangari highlighted that there was need to address the readiness of parties involved in the implementation process of this program. The Gilgil Member of Parliament proposed to have candidates resume classes in preparation for the national examination. This even as she decried of the rising number of teenage pregnancies and drug abuse attributed to the learners staying at home due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Hatutaki watoto wetu warudie shule. Mimi maoni yangu, candidates class 8 na form 4, kama tunafungua market, hata hii tujipange, wachukue shule yote, wafanye mtihani mpaka mahali walikuwa wamesomeshwa. Sababu kama umesoma miaka 7, hauwezi kakosa kuwekewa mtihani na upite. Sababu wazazi pia wamejipanga. Wewe umelipa, umebakisha huko, unahema mwaka ya mwisho, uko na mtoto form 4, unataka amalize ndio usomeshe wengine, alafu unaambiwa urudie tena ulipe fees. It is not possible. Na CS Magoha ametuzungusha sana bila kutupea plan yoyote. Ya mwisho akasema sasa mpaka president aseme. Surely kama ni president alikuwa angesema kitambo, wewe ulikuwa unatuambia tungoje nini? Hii community education na machifu wetu wako hapa, they can assure us hakuna kitu wameambiwa. Ama mmeambiwa itakuwa aje? Nani watafanya kusomesha watoto? Kama mtu amesoma mpaka form 3 asetiwe exam, wachukue shule mzima, wasanitize, waoshe mkono na wafanye mtihani.
Well, this comes even as the Parliamentary Health Committee Chair Sabina Chege urges the Ministry of Education to work closely with the Ministry of Health before making a decision of bringing children back together. This comes as the Ministry of Education prepares to launch the community-based learning program in September, and the government has already stated that school learning can only resume starting January next year.
The Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education need to work very closely. Because as we say, we can have the community, based learning. We really have to know the measures that have been taken. Parents need to be assured that we can be able to have our children back to school and safe.
All right, I don't know what you think or what's your take on community-based learning, but hey, the government says through the Ministry of Education that it is supposed to be rolled out from September this year. Now, in the COVID-19 cases, the Ministry of Health today confirmed 246 new cases of COVID-19, increasing the total number to 32,803. The Chief Administrative Secretary of Health, Dr. Rashid Aman, said the cases, who included a child aged 2 years, were tested from 4,149 samples in the last 24 hours. Dr. Aman said 160 patients recovered, bringing the total number of recoveries to 19,055. And then in addition, we had 5 more patients that succumbed to the virus.
Today, we have 246 people who have tested positive for COVID-19 following testing of 4,149 samples over the last 24 hours. Our cumulative number of confirmed cases now stands at 32,803. And the cumulative number of tests that we have conducted thus far stands at 429,513. All of the 246 cases that we are reporting today, positive cases, 5 of them are foreigners, the rest are Kenyans. 170 are males, 76 are females. The youngest is a 2-year-old, the oldest is 77. I'm also happy to note today that 160 patients have recovered from the disease. 120 of them have been released from home-based care program, and 34 have been discharged from the various health facilities that they have been receiving care. The total number of recoveries now stands at 19,055. We have also lost 5 patients to the disease, bringing our fatality to 559. Our sincere condolences to the families and friends of all of those who have lost their loved ones throughout this pandemic period.
All right, and indeed our condolences to those who have lost their loved ones. And on the topic of today, Shisia, and I hope I'm getting your name right, you're saying, Sarah, life is simple. If I give you 100 shillings to buy unga ya 50, tomato ya 20, skuma ya 20, na ulete change, then you can't tell me umepata unga peke yake na pesa imeisha. Do I need to check again how much I gave you, how much I was paid by my employer, and also how much NSSF, NHIF was deducted? DCI are doing great. Audit not necessary. When we were told mandazi and chai cost 4 million, we cried foul. That's very important to note. So according to you, the DCI are actually doing a good job, and they should continue doing that the same. This is Evans Kulali from Huruma in Nairobi County, and you're saying you're really enjoying the show. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much for tuning in. You're saying about ufisadi in Kenya imeweka mizizi, so masikini atazidi kuwa maskini na tajiri atajirike sana. That is a notion that we are trying to change, and we would like to know your views on the issues of the DCI that have already launched an investigation, despite the fact that an audit has not been done when it comes to the KEMSA scandal. Send in your responses as we head over to Mombasa. Now, police in Mombasa have arrested 5 protesters who were demonstrating against the alleged theft of the COVID-19 fund earlier today. The demonstrators from various civil rights groups in the city demanded action against those involved in looting billions of shillings meant for the fighting of coronavirus. Now, they were tear-gassed by police who engaged them in a running battle along Makadara Road and part of Digo Road, obstructing traffic flow in that area. Listen in. All right, we'll be getting back to that, but the protesters are actually calling on President Uhuru Kenyatta to intervene and urge for a probe into the Kenya Medical Supply Agency. That is the KEMSA scandal that has already attracted the DCI, who are doing an investigation already. And still in Mombasa, as counties continue to register high numbers of COVID-19 infection, the picture has been different in Mombasa County over the low numbers that have been witnessed within the recent days. Now, with a curve descending, questions now arise on whether it is real that the situation on the ground is fewer and whether the few numbers that are being registered are real.
So far we've collected a total of 38,510 samples in Mombasa County, of which 2,230 are positive. We have an attack rate right now of 183 per 100,000 population. We've experienced some death, but like you said, it's not that the numbers are going low because of our testing rate, testing capacity or anything. Like I said before, we are currently doing mass targeted testing within the county, in that we are using our data to make decisions. When you fail to use your data, you find yourself running around all over and you tend to misuse resources. So what you're trying to say is we are looking at areas that are highly burdened for coronavirus, and we narrow down to those areas and we send our officers to collect samples. Secondly, we know the president reopened the economy some time back, and that comes with a lot of workload in terms of testing those who are trying to open hotels. We are still testing truck drivers. And we've gone a step ahead to digitize our system. Currently, we're in the process of digitizing our system to make sure that we issue certification that has barcode. So the numbers have not per se go down because of that, but we are saying we are also doing a lot of sensitization within the community.
All right, that is what is happening in Mombasa, where people are now raising concerns on whether the low numbers that are being registered in that county is real, or could there be a problem with the testing process in that county? That's the million-dollar question. Remember, on the topic of today, we are asking, do you think it's right for the DCI to already start probe into the investigations of the KEMSA scandal even before an audit is done? That is what we are asking today, and we would like to hear from you. We are live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio. Matt, thank you so much for tuning in, and you're saying the show is so powerful. Asante, we really appreciate that. Sarah, it is very simple. We do not have to criticize the DCI. They are just doing their job. A job that has been said, and right now it is done. We should all be We should all be praising them instead of kuwakashifu. Look at it this way. How many cases have gone unanswered? This time, they are taking charge without being pushed. Let them do their job. Thank you so much, Maureen, for tuning in today and for your response. We really appreciate that. Now, about 5,500 school-going girls have been impregnated in Narok County as schools remain closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Narok County Governor Samuel Kuntai has revealed this, saying that the number is only for girls who have attended prenatal clinic in various hospitals within the county, adding that the number is likely to be higher for girls who have not visited these clinics.
Umesimama hapa na kuchukua nafasi ya kutafsiria kaunti hii na kusomea neno la Mungu. Ni nafasi ya unyenyekevu na ni nafasi ambayo utambulizi wa Mwenyezi Mungu, viongozi wakijipeana kwake, Mungu anabadili anga, na tunajua atabadili anga ya kaunti yetu na nchi yetu. Tarehe 22 mwezi wa Machi, wakati mambo ilikuwa magumu katika taifa letu, rais wa taifa hili alituita kule State House tuongoze maombi, na dini zote na madhehebu tulikusanyika kulete maombi yetu kwa Bwana, na janga hili likaendelea kufunga Kenya yetu na nchi zingine. Lakini tunashukuru Mungu kwa sababu ijapokuwa maafa yamepatikana, lakini si kwa kiwango ya matarajio ya wengi.
We are going to defeat COVID-19 in Narok County in the name of Jesus. We will defeat other diseases. Our children are not going to be pregnant again. Umesikia kwamba mpaka sasa zaidi ya wasichana wetu 5,500 wako na mimba. Kuna wengi wale ni wale wameenda clinic.
Well, on that story, I will say what a lecturer of mine once said. We can overcome things, all this negativity, if we just decide to stand together as a society. It takes you and me to overcome such challenges. Now, to other stories, at least 4 people were killed in a massive wildfire burning in Northern California that grew by more than 80,000 acres on Thursday, the state firefighting agency said. 3 of the deaths in the LNU lighting complex fire occurred in Napa County, and the 4th person died in Salona County. The California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, known as CAL FIRE, said in an update.
Morning, fear and devastation across California.
We've been through a lot of fires in this area. Nothing like this.
It was like the entire wall of the forest was just coming at us down the road.
I looked up and the back of my house was on fire.
Hundreds of wildfires ravaging the state. The Bay Area, now the hardest hit of all.
Fire coming down the hill, so we're leaving.
Thousands in the region woke up in the middle of the night to find ominous scenes.
I could see the red glow and I was hearing explosions. You had fire up here and then just embers over here and just everything with light.
One woman saying she was only able to escape the oncoming flames because a friend called to warn her.
She told me before it came that it was coming, so that helped. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have known in time.
And near Fresno, a helicopter en route for aerial support crashed, killing the pilot and sparking yet another fire. Officials say Thursday that multiple wildfires have now burned into each other, creating massive spans of flames called complexes, including one near Santa Clara that has burned nearly 100,000 acres.
The size and complexity at which these incidents are burning is challenging all aspects of emergency response.
In Napa, more than 46,000 acres have already burned, and at least 2,000 homes are threatened, and more than 50 have already been destroyed. And near Santa Cruz, a staggering 22 fires have burned together. More than 20,000 people now evacuated amid the serious threat to safety.
3 ambulance for burn injuries, 2 victims en route.
All right, and we continue to pray for the people of Northern California. So as you say your prayers today, remember the families of that area. Now, in Belarus, huge crowds of protesters are continuing to stage demonstrations against President Alexander Lukashenko and the election 2 weeks ago. That they said were rigged. Riot or police officers have been ordered into the streets of the capital, Minsk.
Our aim is to show the government that we are not their slaves.
We are here to show that we never elected him and that we want the change, that we want the new country with a new president.
All right, your name is Shiko, and this is Caro Shiko. Thank you for tuning in. And you're saying the show is so powerful. So far, DCI, they're doing a great job. Go team. Thank you so much for your response there. We're waiting for yours. Are you in support of the DCI that have already actually started an investigation on the KEMSA scandal, despite the fact that an audit is yet to be done on the same scandal? Send in your responses. And now we talk about the U.S. President Donald Trump, and he has suggested that postal ballots could lead to fraud in the upcoming election. Addressing delegates at a scale-back party convention in North Carolina, he said the 2020 election would be the greatest scam of all time. The president is due to give a formal acceptance speech to the party convention on Thursday. It is actually unusual for candidates to address the convention before that point, as President Trump has done.
Who's mailing them? Mostly Democrat states and Democrat governors. Well, supposing they don't mail them to Republican neighborhoods, that means they're not going to get them. So they're going to complain, and the election's going to be over, and then they're going to complain, and then they'll say, oh, well, we didn't get it, big deal. In the meantime, you might lose the election. This is the greatest scam in the history of politics, I think, and I'm talking about beyond our nation.
Well, the Republican National Convention is currently ongoing until Thursday, and let's wait and see what they come up with. Now, on the COVID-19 issue, about 300 people, that is, will have the vaccine of COVID-19 over the coming weeks as part of the trial led by Professor Robin Shattock and his colleagues at Imperial College in London. Tests in animals suggest that the vaccine is safe and triggers an effective immune response. Experts at Oxford University have already started human trials, and the U.S. government scientists have begun efforts to manufacture a strain of the novel coronavirus that could be used in human challenges trial of vaccine, a controversial type of study in which healthy volunteers would be vaccinated and then intentionally infected with the virus, according to the Reuters news agency. Human challenge trials are regarded by some as a faster way to develop a vaccine, but they come with big risks. Listen in.
Some are given the vaccine, some are not. Individuals are then exposed to the disease. If you're testing a very infectious disease, such as COVID-19, you then have to keep them away from other people to prevent further transmission. Scientists then monitor their progress over time to work out the extent of protection offered by the vaccine. Some say that deliberately infecting healthy people is unethical, given there's no definitive cure for COVID-19. Even in low-risk groups, there is a small chance people could become very ill. Some could even die. Others question how much can be learned if you're only testing the vaccine on younger, healthier people, rather than the at-risk population who would benefit most from a vaccine. But many people argue that these trials could help speed up the development of a coronavirus vaccine. If shown to be protective sooner, the vaccine could be rolled out more quickly, and that would save lives.
Well, even as scientists abroad are struggling to get a vaccine for this virus, in Kenya, we're also doing something. Now, more than 150 health workers from Kirinyaga County have, over the last 1 week, been trained on infection prevention and control as a way of combating the coronavirus. The training has been necessitized by the threat of the COVID-19 in the counties and the need to build capacity of health workers to enhance service delivery at all public health facilities. Now, this comes as health workers across the country raise their concerns of negligence by both county and the national government. And some of the technical staff trained include medical officers, clinical officers, laboratory technologists, while the non-technical participants were drawn from support staff and casual workers. So you see, even in our country, we're doing something. When we continue training, but there is something that has been raised by most of the medical workers and also common mwananchi. When they are not taken care of, then our health sector will suffer. And in return, the common mwananchi will suffer. But when there is a good initiative, and we also pray that the doctors will be in dialogue with the Ministry of Health and also the government to make sure that their stipend is given to them so that the common mwananchi is safe. Thank you so much for tuning in to This Is The Day. Prayer Circle is coming in next on Family TV and Family Radio. So send in your prayer requests and also your praise reports. And tomorrow morning, we will be having Jam 316 with Pastor James Okumu and also the devotion with Pastor Ephantus Njogu. You do not want to miss out on that. Thank you so much. My name is Sarah Otieno. I will see you tomorrow.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.